Chapter 37 Chavadi Procession. In this chapter, Hemadpanta, after making some preliminary observations on some points of Vedanta, describes the Chavadi procession. Preliminary. Blessed is Sai's life, for his devotee, blessed in his daily routine, his ways and actions are indescribable. Sometimes he was intoxicated with Brahmajnan, divine bliss, and at other times completed self-absorbed. While doing so many things at the same time, he was yet unconcerned with them. Though he seemed at times quite inactive, he was not idle or dozing. He always abided in his own self. Though he looked calm and placid as the sea, he was deep and unfathomable. Who can describe his ineffable nature? He regarded men as brothers, women as sisters and mothers. He was a perfect celibate, as everyone knows. May the knowledge we got in his company last long unto death. Let us serve him with wholehearted devotion to his feet. Let us see God in all beings, and let us constantly remember his name. Hemadpanta, after making some lengthy dissertation on some topics of Vedanta, which he himself considered as a digression, goes on to describe the Chavadi procession. Chavadi procession. Baba's dormitory has been already described. One day he slept in the masjid, and on the next in the Chavadi near the masjid. He slept in the masjid and in the Chavadi on alternate days. This alternate sleeping at both these places went on till Baba's Mahasamadhi. From 10th December 1909, devotees began to offer regular worship to Baba in the Chavadi. This we will now describe with his grace. When the day of returning to the Chavadi came, people flocked to the masjid and did bhajan in the mandap courtyard for a few hours. Behind them was a beautiful palanquin. To the right of Tulsi Vrindavan, and in the front Baba adorned his seat, and there were the devotees singing bhajan. Men and women who had a liking for the bhajan came in time. Some took tal, chippals and kartal, mridinga, kanjeri and ghol, all musical instruments, in their hands and conducted the bhajan. Saibaba was the magnet who drew all the devotees to him. Outside in the open, some trimmed their devitas, torches, some decorated the palanquin, some stood with cane sticks in their hand and hailed victory to Baba. The corners were decorated with buntings. In the masjid, rows of burning oil lamps shed their lights. Baba's horse, Sham Kama, stood fully decorated outside. Then Tatya Patil came with a group of men to Baba and asked him to be ready. Baba sat in his place till Tatya came and helped him to get up by putting his arm under Baba's arm. Tatya called Baba by the name of Mama, maternal uncle. Really, their relationship was extremely intimate. Baba wore on his body the usual kafni, took his satka, short stick, under his armpit, and after taking his chilim, tobacco pipe and tobacco, and placing a cloth over his shoulder, became ready to start. Then Tatya Patil placed a golden embroidery beautiful shela shawl over his body. After this, Baba himself put a few fuel sticks into the dhuni to keep it alive, and with its right hand extinguished the lamp burning near the dhuni, and then started for Chavadi. Then all sorts of musical instruments, bands and horns, etc. gave out different sounds, and fireworks exhibited various colored views. Men and women singing Baba's name started walking, doing bhajan to the accompaniment of mridanga and veena. Some danced with joy and some carried various flags. The baldhars announced Baba's name when he came on the steps of the masjid. On two sides of Shirdi, on two sides of Baba, two stood person, one held chamar and the other who fanned Baba. On the way were spread folds of cloth which Baba walked on, being supported by devotees' hands. Tatya Patil held the left hand and Bhagat Malsapati the right. The Bapu Sahib Jog held the chhatra umbrella over his head. In this fashion, Baba marched on to Chavadi, the fully decorated house named Sham Karma led the way, and behind him were all the carriers, waiters, musical players, and crowd of the devotees. Hari Nam, the name of Lord, was being chanted to the accompaniment of the music and also the name of Sai. In this manner, the procession reached the corner, and everyone who joined the party seemed pleased and delighted. On reaching this corner, Baba stood facing the Chavadi and shone with a particular aura. It seemed as if the face of Baba took over the glory of the rising sun. Baba stood there with a concentrated mind facing the north, and if he was signaling something, all the instruments played music while Baba moved his right hand up and down for some time. Kaka Sahib Dikshit this time came forward with a silver platter containing flowers besmeared with gulal, red powder, and threw them on Baba's body off and on. The musical instruments played their best at their juncture, and Baba's face besmeared with radiance and beauty, and all the persons viewed this luster to their heart's content. Words fail to describe the splendor of this scene. Sometimes Malsapati began to dance as if possessed by some deity, but all were surprised to see Baba's concentration was least disturbed. With a lantern in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding in his hand the hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession, and what an expression of devotion. To witness this, men and women, poor and rich folks flocked there. Baba walked at very slow pace. Bhaktas followed on both sides with love and devotion, with joy permeating. But all were surprised to see Baba's concentration was least disturbed. With a lantern in his hand, Tatya Patil walked on Baba's left side and Bhagat Malsapati on the right, holding in his hand the hem of Baba's garment. What a beautiful procession, and what an expression of devotion. To witness this, men and women, poor and rich, flocked there. Baba walked at very slow pace. Bhaktas followed on both sides with love and devotion. With joy permeating the whole atmosphere of the place, the procession reached the Chavadi. Those days are gone now. Nobody can see them in future, but by remembering and visualizing that sight, we bring solace and ecstasy to our minds. The Chavadi was also fully decorated with good white ceiling mirrors and many sorts of lamp. On reaching there, Tatya went ahead and spread an asan, seat cushion, and placing a bolster near Baba, sit there and made him wear angarkha coat. Then the devotees worship him in various ways. They put a crown on his head with a tuft above, place garland of flowers and jewels around the neck, and marking his forehead with musk mixed vertical lines, as Vaishnava devotee do. They gazed at him for long to their heart's content. They changed his head dress now and then held it aloft on the head, fearing that Baba might throw it away. Baba knew what bhaktas wished for and meekly submitted to their ways without objection. With these adornments, he looked wonderful and beautiful. Nana Sahib Nimonkar held the chhatra, state umbrella, with its beautiful pendants, which moved in a circle with its supporting stick. Bapu Sahib Zog washed his feet in a silver dish, offered aragya and worshipped his with due rituals, then besmeared his arms with sandal paste and offered him tambul betel leaves. Baba sat on the asan gadi while Tatya and others kept standing. When Baba sat on the gadi, supporting himself against the bolster, devotees on both sides waved chamars and fan. Shama then prepared the chilim and handed it over to Tatya Patil, who drew a flame out by inhaling a deep breath through his mouth and then gave it to Baba. After Baba had his smoke, it was given to Bhagat Mahasapati and then it was passed around to all. Blessed was the intimate chilim. It had first to undergo many ordeals of penance, such as being kneaded by pot makers, dried in the sun, and burnt in fire, and then it has the good fortune to get the contact of Baba's hand and his kiss. After this function was over, devotees put garlands of flowers over his neck and gave him scent and bunches of flowers. Baba, who was an incarnation of dispassion, cared a fig for all these necklaces of jewels and garlands of flowers and other decoration, but out of real love to his devotees, he allowed them to have their own way to please themselves. Finally, Bapu Sahib Zog waved the arti over Baba, observing all formalities, and the musical instrument played their auspicious tunes. When this arti was over, the devotees turned home one by one, saluting Baba and taking his leave. When Tatya Patil, after offering chilim, attar, scent, and rose water, stood to depart, Baba said to him lovingly, "Guard me properly, go if you like, but return sometimes at night and inquire for me." On replying in the affirmative, Tatya Patil left the Chavadi and went home. Then Baba himself prepared his bed. He arranged some sheets one upon the other, and thus making his bed went to rest. We shall now take rest and close this chapter with a request to the readers that they should remember Baba and his Chavadi procession daily before they retire and go to bed. Bo to Shri Sai. Peace be to all.